Gotham City operates as a closed ecosystem, governed by a currency of fear. At the top of the food chain is a singular apex predator who uses the architecture and the elements to enforce a rigid, fragile order. A brightly colored variable has just swung into this territory. This figure moves with a high-velocity, acrobatic rhythm that violates every aesthetic and operational rule the city lives by. This outsider believes he is answering a call for help. He enters the skyline with purely altruistic intent, unaware that the territory he's patrolling is already claimed and strictly monitored. In a system built on total control, a superpowered wildcard is a threat to the equilibrium. The mere presence of an unregulated variable triggers an immediate defensive response from the city's protector. From deep within the shadows, the protector conducts a cold threat assessment. He watches the footage not to find an ally, but to identify the most efficient way to dismantle a potential intruder. His internal logic allows no room for the benefit of the doubt. In his framework, an unknown entity with superhuman capabilities is categorized as an existential risk until proven otherwise. This initiates a doctrine of preemptive containment. The objective is to neutralize high-level targets before they can gather momentum or influence the local environment. Two incompatible operating systems have collided, one side driven by instinctual altruism, the other locked into preemptive containment. The opening strike is unprovoked and explosive. It is a calculated test designed to measure the target's reaction speed and psychological threshold. The outsider counters with a precognitive reflex. He doesn't rely on sight. His nervous system alerts him to the strike before the weapon is released, allowing him to move before the air even changes. This data shows the core conflict. The protector predicts strikes by reading biomechanics, but tactical prediction consistently lags behind the spike of a precognitive reflex. That millisecond gap is everything. He cannot outmaneuver an opponent sensing the immediate future. The battle moves into the subway, a chaotic subterranean landscape of concrete and steel. Here, gadgets and web lines turn the environment into a tangle of high-speed obstacles. When physical preparation fails against superhuman instinct, the strategist is forced to change his approach. He abandons direct combat for the only tool that can bypass a reflex: psychological pressure. The chaos of the brawl suddenly vanishes, replaced by the suffocating silence of a pitch-black warehouse. The rules of the encounter have been rewritten. The protector becomes a figure of psychological horror. He uses total sensory deprivation to isolate his opponent, turning the darkness into a weapon. This environment is a specific countermeasure. Saturating the space with ambient threats, he overloads his enemy's senses, forcing him to react to shadows and every creak in the floorboards. The outsider is now navigating a trap built on tension. For the first time tonight, his superhuman senses aren't an advantage, they are a source of escalating panic. In this environment, the protector demonstrates his ultimate thesis. Controlling the psychology of a space is more effective than any physical strike. The ambush arrives from the dark, a full-tower armored strike meant to end it. But the outsider catches the fist, effortlessly stopping it midair. Momentum stops instantly. The strategist's maximum physical output is met with a cold, immovable reality that his opponent's power ceiling is significantly higher than his own. The strategist looks at the hand gripping his fist and realizes the truth. The outsider could have broken his arm or ended the fight at any moment, but he chose to keep his hand open. This act of restraint alters the threat assessment. The human fighter recognizes that his opponent isn't a danger to be contained, but a hero operating with a level of mercy that exceeds his own. The aggression drains out of the environment as the shadows recede. The nightmare of the warehouse gives way to the gray, calm clarity of the approaching dawn. They stand among the wreckage of their own battle, looking at one another with their masks torn and suits shredded. The fear has been replaced by a quiet recognition between two individuals who have finally seen each other's limits. This moment is earned by the weight of their choices. They both carry the burden of immense power, and they both bear the exhaustion of choosing every single night to hold that power back. One uses fear to protect a city, and the other uses instinctual mercy. Though they return to different worlds, they leave the rooftop bound by the same code, that heroism is defined by what you choose